Hello, everybody. I have changed my name, and a lot of people have been asking, what's the story behind it? And I would love to tell you all individually, but it's just not feasible. So I decided to make this video to explain it en masse to save me some time and let you know. So the story behind it is, for the last 5 years, I have been on a spiritual journey from thinking that this is it, this like skin, bone, body mush is it, and when you die, it's all over. And anybody who thought anything else was an idiot and they needed to go back to school and learn the theory of evolution. And I've slowly but surely had my perceptions of the world utterly smashed and my brain smashed to pieces, and had to put it all back together again and to perform a new view. And it takes some time to unlearn these things which you think about the nature of reality and consciousness and spirituality, and to form a new viewpoint. And it took me about 5 years, and it came to a head about 2 weekends ago. And I've been able to get to this point particularly through COVID. Actually, it's been a blessing for me. I have a lot of practice. I do something called the Wim Hof technique, which is a 15-minute breathing meditation where you over-oxygenate your body mixed with cold water therapies, so cold showers. I meditate on a daily basis. I do yoga one day and weights work another day. I sing mantra. I do daily gratifications, and lots of other things to raise my vibration, basically, or stay in a place of happiness. Along my journey, I have had psychedelic experiences. I've used ayahuasca and other plant medicines in order to help me on this journey, and have been great teachers to me. And yeah, it came to a head basically last week, or about 2 weekends ago, say, and I'm at a gathering of sort of spiritual, like-minded people. It was essentially a satsang, which is kind of a festival of all these things. Basically, just imagine lots of hippies around a campfire with instruments and drums. And I had a innate feeling come through that it was time to change my name. And my name is Stephen Glenn, or was Stephen Glenn Puddyfat. So Stephen after the Tottenham footballer Steve Perryman, Glenn after the Tottenham footballer Glenn Hoddle. And I don't even like football, so I'm named after two footballers. Don't like football, doesn't make sense. And Puddyfat is my father's name, and my father is almost entirely estranged from the family now, and has very little communication with me. Probably almost everybody watching this has probably got a better relationship with me than I do with my own father. So to be called Stephen Glenn Puddyfat really didn't make a lot of sense, and I didn't pick any of it. And I can pick my own name. That's how it works. So I did. I decided to pick myself Ganesh, and it came through. I've had a lot of synchronicities with Ganesh in the last 5 years, especially more recently. A synchronicity with what Western people would just call a coincidence, but I don't like that word. And yeah, I previously thought about renaming myself Stephen Awesome, just to get rid of the Puddyfat, because it's difficult for people to spell, and awesome brings people a smile. So I thought Ganesh Awesome, that will make people smile. And I went one step further and went Ganesh the Awesome. Now, I'm not saying I am Ganesh the Awesome. I am not saying that I am a Hindu deity. I haven't lost my mind and now believe that I am God, just for the record. The story of Ganesh, I'm not going to tell you the whole thing, but essentially he's the deity that removes obstacles. So if you have a problem in your life, you can call in Ganesh. I've got this problem, Ganesh, please come in and help me with this. Ganesh comes in, helps you, whoop-de-doo, everyone's happy, you've got the problem out of the way. So they call him the remover of obstacles. But in the energetic system, they say that Ganesh resides in your root chakra. So if you don't know what that is, doesn't really matter. Basically, there's a small part of your body where Ganesh resides and you can call upon him to rise up through your spirit. So we all have Ganesh in us, and really Ganesh the Awesome is a nod to that, saying, I'm awesome, you're awesome, we're all awesome, Ganesh is awesome, everything's awesome. So it's a nod to that. And you know, by calling myself Ganesh, it's you know, it's a nod. I'm like a henchman for Ganesh, like a disciple of Ganesh, let's say, something like that. So that's it. So that's how I came to be Ganesh the Awesome. There is a much longer story about it, which I'll probably share at some point. Post this event, so this happened over the course of a weekend. It happened late Friday night, early Saturday morning. I didn't know this, but somebody later told me. It's like, "Oh, what's your name? Blah blah blah. Oh, Ganesh. Oh yeah, happy birthday." I was like, "What do you mean?" And it turned out that I'd actually decided to call myself Ganesh on Ganesh's birthday. So it's celebrated once a year, a bit like Christmas or something like that. And I had actually accidentally chosen the exact day of his birth to be born myself as Ganesh, which was that's the final synchronicity that I needed to go ahead and do it. So I am changing my name by deed poll. It's already been done, and that's my new name. And I've off the back of this, you know, I stopped drinking at the start of the year. I've had lots more time with COVID to do my practice, my Wim Hof practice, my meditation, my breathing, my yoga, no drinking. This year is also a celibacy year for me, so I haven't been chasing skirt. And I think all of that has allowed me this extra room to grow and have what I would call as a full Kundalini awakening. You know, it's a full spiritual awakening that I've had that's led me to this. And I feel amazing. I feel absolutely amazing pretty much all the time. You know, I'm vibrating at a different level than I was vibrating before. And I was pretty high energy before, those of you who know me, but now even more so. And on the back of this, I need to sleep less. I was getting to the point where I was having 2-3 hours a night sleep one night a week. And now I can't seem to be able to sleep more than 6 hours before I feel completely refreshed. And some nights I'm sleeping 1 or 2 hours. You know, I'm in a very good place. And all those practices I talked to you about, and I'm also almost entirely vegan, and I also eat almost entirely organic foods. So, you know, all of this are parts of this puzzle that have led to this thing. So that's the explanation as to why I've changed my name and how I got here. It's pretty quick, and we'll need more explanation. I'm been given a life purpose, which is I want to raise money, and I'm going to raise money to build an ashram in the UK. And the purpose of the ashram is to get people feeling as brilliantly as I do, and raise consciousness and upgrade the planet, and we'll all live happily ever after. So that's my little part in the puzzle. I had one of my biggest critics or concerned people write a list of questions for me, which I'm going to answer, because these are probably the sorts of questions that anybody who is watching this might want to know and has made it this far. Is your name a joke? No, I think I've made that quite clear from what I've just said. If it is a joke, do you think it will get old? Well, it is supposed to be kind of a little bit funny and start a conversation, and to be honest, nobody seems to tire of puddy fat after 38 years, so I reckon I've probably got about 38 years of Ganesh the Awesome in me. Have you taken too many drugs and fried your brain? If you had taken too many drugs and fried your brain, how would you know? Well, I've been almost entirely sober this year, but for a few psychedelic episodes, so my thinking now is clearer than it has ever been. And in fact, prior to this, you know, I used to abuse alcohol, cocaine, everything else, you know, for many years in my youth. And my thinking was a lot less fuzzy then. And, you know, if I'd have done a lot of this stuff without the name change, probably it wouldn't have raised such an eyebrow. It's only the fact that I've changed my name that it's raised such an eyebrow. And people say, why do you need to change your name? It's not such a big deal. The name's not such a big deal. Well, if it's not such a big deal, then why has it raised so many eyebrows? Like, I think it is a big deal. I think a name is a lot. There's a lot in a name. Really a lot, actually. But no, I don't think I've fried my brain. In fact, I think it's more clear thinking and grounded than it's ever been in my entire life. I can't prove that to you, and my past behaviour and things I've done would lead people to believe I was pretty off the rails, because the me of a few years ago was certainly pretty wayward and would fall off the train tracks on regular occasion, but I feel very mentally stable. Is changing your name a reaction to your difficult childhood and a rejection of your father than anything else? Do you have daddy issues? Once upon a time, maybe, not anymore. Is this a cry for help? No. You have a renowned reputation for attention-seeking behaviour. Is changing your name just the latest example of this? Can't argue with the first part of that. No, this is not about attention-seeking. This is about me being born into a new person. Are you having an identity crisis? No. Do you think people will take your name seriously? I don't care. It's my new name, and if you want to call me it, then that's what I would like. If you want to make a joke of it, then that's fine also. I don't really care, but it is my name. How do you expect the professional world to receive your name? Probably less great. For a long time, I'm going to remain as Stephen in my job because, well, I need to sell IT software, and I'm pretty sure that Ganesh the Awesome isn't going to sell as much IT software as Stephen Puddyfat could, and I need to keep in a job for now. There's a question about me thinking I'm a deity, which is, I think I've explained. Why have you chosen the name of a Hindu god when you're not a Hindu? Well, actually, Hinduism is one of the most inclusive spiritualities there is. If you go to a Hindu temple, you'll see pictures of Jesus and Buddha and other deities of all the manner and descriptions. They actually have 3.3 million deities in Hinduism. So, they're very inclusive. And the idea that I couldn't pick a Hindu and because I'm not a Hindu doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But I don't think it matters, basically. I also take parts of Buddhism, and I'm not a Buddhist. I can sing a Christian song, and I'm not a Christian. What would you say to a Hindu who finds your choice of name offensive or disrespectful? Well, actually, I went to the Hindu temple today in Bristol and sat with the pujari, which is like the Hindu priest, and told him all about my story, and he categorically said there would be no Hindu on planet Earth that would be upset with me calling myself Ganesh the Awesome. So I have the blessing straight from them, and if you are a Hindu who's found it disrespectful that I've done that, please feel free to direct message me and let's have a conversation about it. But it's certainly not meant to be disrespectful to your faith. If anything, it's being highly respectful to it, because I love Ganesh. Another question about me self-aggrandizing myself by calling myself a god. I think I've explained that enough. Do you think it's disrespectful of your family and ancestors to erase their name? Not really. How have your sisters and your nieces reacted to this? Don't know. Haven't spoken to them yet. Guess we'll find out. Are you trying to erase Stephen Puddyfat and become a new person? I'm not trying to erase Stephen Puddyfat. He was who I was. Am I trying to become a new person? Yes, very much so. In fact, when I went to the Hindu temple today and had the conversation, he said, you have to think about when you are Ganesh, what makes sense about Ganesh. If someone says, oh yeah, I saw Ganesh down the pub and he was drinking loads of pints and he was vomiting in the street, does that sentence make sense? Whereas if you say, oh yeah, I saw Ganesh, he was out helping people plant trees or helping an old woman cross the road, Does that make sense? So the name actually comes with a weighting, and I like that because it will keep me in check, and it's a responsibility to uphold that name. I didn't do so well with Stephen. Sorry to all the other Stephens out there. Do you think the change of name will affect the relationships you made when you were Stephen Puddyfat? Not really. I mean, if me becoming spiritual and changing my name to Ganesh the Awesome has alienated you, then I feel a bit sorry for you, and I'm sad that it will change our relationship, whoever you are, wherever you are. It hasn't changed my relationship with anybody so far, and you know, I would be very sad if it alienates people and they fall out of my life. But if that does happen, then so be it, basically. Are any parts of the name first, middle, surnames in traditional sense? Yes, Ganesh will be my first name, middle name the, surname Awesome. You don't have to call me Ganesh the Awesome, just Ganesh is fine. And I think that probably covers all the questions. So that's it, quite long. Thanks if you made it this far, thanks for listening to me. Hope it explains everything. Drop me a message if you'd like to chat. Hopefully I'll find time for you. I'm a little bit busy. Next step is to create a podcast and interview lots of people, get loads of money, build an ashram, upgrade consciousness. We can all leave the planet. Aho!